Hello everyone, this is Ilky speaking, and this is a pilot episode for what me and my friend Marcus will try to do, I guess. And it's a podcast on Etheria Restart. It's gonna be called Etheria Stop, I guess, for now, if we don't change our minds. And to introduce myself, I have been playing games since I was a kid, of course, like mostly everyone on the internet that's gonna be looking at this video probably. And I love gaming. I am planning to be studying to be a game programmer. And why are you laughing at me? It sounds like you're doubting me.
I coughed, I'm sorry.
What?
I coughed, I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, no problem. And yeah, I like gaming, I like dancing, I like Beyblades, and that's all I do basically. Yeah. And I told to this gentleman over here who's gonna introduce himself.
Hello, I am Marcus, and I also go by the name Lord Marcus in game. And as you heard, this is me and Ilka's podcast, or yap along to Etheria pretty much. My background in gaming is pretty much as Ilka's as well, playing most games from a young age. But specifically gacha games, I've been playing since almost the release of the original Summoner's War, and I've been playing on and off about most gacha games. And for my latest game, I think I played before Etheria was Summoner's War Chronicles, where I was pretty much every season in the game ranking top 100, and I think I managed to get top 10 one season I pushed. But usually I don't like to push too much. And also in that game in particular, there was like time gated when you can actually play the ranked matches and stuff like that. So, but enough of that. We are here to yap about Etheria now.
Yeah,
This nice upcoming MMO. I was going to say this upcoming gacha game.
yeah. I mean, it's a it's not an MMO for sure, but it's for sure a gacha game. Yeah.
I
So
mean, it's technically an MMO because it's a massive multiplayer online game.
I guess,
If I'm
yeah,
not wrong.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, to make a comparison, I haven't played that much of PvP oriented gacha games. Not as much as Marcus for sure, but I've played a lot of gacha and a lot of turn-based strategy games, so I have a bit of experience. But I guess like I wouldn't be the best at RTA for this game, at least at the start. I'm trying to improve though, and Marcus is helping me, so I guess I'm for sure interested. It's I've played a bit while we were doing the beta, and it was really interesting to me. So I mean, if it wasn't, we wouldn't have started doing the podcast. So we're both really interested in the game, yeah. But
Yeah, the game is actually very good as it is. Like give or take, it's still a gacha game in the end. So take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to competition. But the most fun thing to take away from any like competitive game is like doing the best you can with what you have, and that's something I do love about games like this. Because we will get into it later during a topic, but just a TLDR, like you can make so different comps. For example, if you cannot outspeed, you can do a completely different comp and then just take turn two on purpose and just win against outspeeding people most of the time. If you just play smart instead of like following a quote unquote meta guide,
yeah,
which I always love to dive into.
yeah, I'm more of a like follow guides and see what people do type of person, and Marcus is usually the more like I will carve my own path through the game and learn things by trial and error. So I guess like we
Yeah.
match in that, like we have different and matching personalities, I guess. Like we have both aspects of the spectrum.
Yeah, for sure.
But to not get carried away with starting discussions too early, we are trying to be a bit organized here, even though it's our first episode and we only have like 5 lines of text with the things that we want to speak about. I'm gonna introduce the topics now so that people that might be interested can stay. I will also try and have sections in the YouTube video so that people can skip ahead if they don't care about some of the things. I guess we don't yet know how long this is gonna be, but the main topics will be early game tips, which will like hopefully be helpful for everyone who's not been following, and hopefully for those who have been following other content creators at this time. Then we're gonna move to characters to focus at the start of the game, like for pulling, I guess, and even for like SR characters. And yeah, and this is gonna be like intertwined with the next topic, which is also the good SRs that you can invest in at the start of the game. Like we're not gonna talk too much about really strong characters that might scale well in the end game, since the game is still at its beginning. It's not even out yet. So, and then the last topic will be some PvP tips that we got from playing it ourselves and from watching the tournament that took place before the beta ended, the last weekend of the beta, I guess. Uh, and we really liked the tournament. We really enjoyed watching it. We watched it. Marcus watched it and then rewatched it with me since I was out for the weekend, and we really enjoyed like talking about the strategies and the drafts and like how we thought the drafts could be improved. But yeah, without
Yeah.
further ado, I would say we start with the early game tips. So
Yeah, so it's a bit like early game tips. It's very weird. Like I have myself like made a guideline for myself that I will be following just to keep myself on track. But I'm I'm also speaking from a like paying player's perspective where I will like pull a lot more than a like an average free to play player in the beginning to get some specific characters. But I should say most people are I think going with Tiamat as the starter. If you're only getting if you don't reroll or anything, like you just bare bones playing the game, I think a lot of people are going with Tiamat from what I gather. I think Real Mokka, which probably is the one I'm going with, a lot of people are starting to pick up and figuring out is very good to help you progress. And like the two other characters I've heard people talk about is like Rosa and Born, which are two super good picks as well. I personally don't think Born is a good start like pick for your selector in the beginning, because like he will be a good damage dealer, but Rosa helps a lot more in some of the PV contents. I think Born is just a good character to have in a roster. But for early game, in my opinion, like I've tried, I think I made 8 accounts to try different starts, like for the day one pretty much. And if you get the real Mokka and any type of attack bar booster slash attack increaser like number 41, Shiakideko, Freya, pretty much anyone work, and you just make Grey go first or before Rimoka pretty much, or whatever pick you get if it's a damage dealer, you can pretty much nuke everything. But like if you wanna be fast in the beginning, um, that's my general consensus from what like I gather from doing a lot of starting accounts. But also I didn't play um, for a long time or efficient in that way. I was just trying a speedy start to like actually get to the grinding part of day one.
yeah, I agree with most of what he said. Like yeah, those are definitely some of the most like um, reliable options that you can go for. Like I think like Tiamat is very reliable, but probably slower and also a bit hard to use on auto, which I feel like is somewhat of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time for people who don't want to spend too much time of the game on the game at the start, because Tiamat will always use S3 before she uses S2, so she will attack and taunt before she uses the shield, which sometimes is good, but sometimes you would want her to use skill 2, which I mean we are talking the even though the devs have said they would have a patch note come out before the game releases, so we are like going off the week before that happens, or maybe I don't know how many days before that happens. So take everything we are saying with a grain of salt. But yeah, I think like if she stays like she's and there's no way to set up what skill she uses at any point in the game for the PvE farming, if you want to go for auto, she might be a bit harder to use at the start. She's still super reliable and she will make everything be a bit longer, I guess, than a character like Rimoka who or Rose, I guess, even though she's a bit harder to build than Rimoka would be. But like um, yeah, she's just gonna be the safe option, and like I'm gonna take everything slowly and carefully, like not even that slowly, just carefully and safely, and not be like uh, rushing through the game at the fastest speed possible, I guess. I feel like some good other characters might be something like, yeah, Hell Kid, I guess, is something I was also contemplating, but I think like I was more of a Timoth person myself than I tried her during the beta, and like when Marcus tried on one of his 7,000 accounts that he made to test the beta out, he tried to Mocha. He was showing me how good the clear was, and yeah, I feel like she's a great character to start with. I don't think there's a best option. Like some games have a definite best option. This game, since you're trying to go for PvP as well, if even more so if you're going to be free to play, I don't think there's like a best option. While I do think that's the case, I also don't think there's a worst option. Like eventually the game's PT is pretty like easy to get. The pools that you get at the starts are plentiful, so you will eventually get a few characters and start building up your roster. You don't have to clear, like unless you want to try and push the game as far as you can as soon as you can. You don't have to be like on the forefront of every single type of content as soon as you unlock it. But since
Yeah.
you're trying to be a bit more efficient, that's what we're trying to do as well. Marcus is of course better than me since he has more experience with this kind of game as well, so he got further than me in the beta. But I made some major mistakes, I think, during the beta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Same
was
here.
really helpful as an experience to get and to go through. To yeah, I mean yeah. Beta was, I guess, made to make the mistakes earlier and
Yeah,
to
I
test the
think
game.
most people that didn't actually play any previous closed betas actually made mistakes, and that's bound to happen. Like even though I had done some research beforehand and everything, like as soon as you start getting fun LD toys or whatever, like you just forget about everything you thought the first time you played the game, and then just invest all your resources into those things, like those units, before you even like realize what you have done and how hard like I invested so much in all like Rahu, Lily, Messiah, and
Yeah,
everything like that is straight from the beginning, and for like just didn't think about SR units at all, and that really came back to bite me like day 2 or day 3. It was really painful. So I think to take away from like the early game is like what type of player are you? What like what do you want to accomplish? And what pace do you want to take the game? Because it doesn't matter if you're not first, if you don't want to compete in PvP or try to join the World Cup and stuff like that. Like, there's no need to rush to get to PvP. Like, even some people that ended up rank 20 or so in the beta, they didn't do PvP before the 11th day. They didn't even do RTA, like, until later in the season or towards the end of the beta, because they had the correct gear they wanted for their comp. So, like, it all depends on what you want to do with the game, with your time. And Tiamat is probably, as most people say, like the long-term plan if you're free to play. But everyone's account will be different depending if you reroll, if you're spending, if you just play the game with whatever you get. But the one thing you can like actually do is choosing the correct character. And for me, I don't wanna like I wanna optimize my time, so like my clears are fast from the beginning, so I can focus my time on other things like the anti-sync battles, maybe upgrading characters, figuring out my comps for PvP and stuff like that. On the like when I don't grind, so to say, when my stamina is empty and I want to get rid of the stamina quick, so I don't feel like I'm missing out, like I have to play the game, and that's why I'm going with Real Mokka. I'm like actually getting her in the start somehow. If it's from my random pull on my permanent banner, or if it's from just getting the targeted one, it doesn't really matter because she will speed up so fast. Because Gray only needs to hit his defense break with one target, and Real Mokka nukes that target, and everything dies pretty much. For my testing, and that was on a completely free-to-play account with like no extra resources. That I did that, and it was. I think I had done almost everything in the game in 6 hours, like
Yeah.
pushed as far as I could get in only 6 hours. And my first day of actually playing the beta, when I did all my mistakes and everything, I think I played for 14 hours, and I was not really done.
Yeah. It's crazy how much you can improve by like trying stuff out and seeing what works and what doesn't. But I made the same mistake. I was like, we both spent on the beta server, so our first account we both did a lot of pulls and we got some shiny characters, shiny SSRs, and we were both like, yeah, we're gonna build all of these and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Like, how is like you cannot go wrong with SSRs, right? Yeah, wrong. That was wrong. SRs are
Yeah.
in this game are pretty good, even more so for PvE, but even in PvP they're super good. Like Sanya is an amazing character for both PvE and PvP. She's a great healer, great wrestler. Like she has a lot of utility for
Yeah.
both modes. Like she's a Swiss knife. Like she has healing, she has resting, she has dispelling, and she's a 4-star that you can pretty easily get from pulling. Like if you do a bit of pulling, like you might not get her since she's not on any banner like guaranteed. But as long as you get some of the good ones, like yeah,
Yeah. If we
you're fine.
let's talk about more about Sonya in the next chapter
Yeah,
where
and
we talk
yeah,
about
exactly.
SR. Do you
Yeah.
have any final thoughts about the early tips?
I think what I want to focus my thought about is I feel like it's really hard to understand. I've been watching some YouTube videos as well, and everyone has their own opinion, and I have my own opinion on what to do with your pools at the start of the game. I feel like it's there's not the best choice that you can make, even more so now that they've announced that the targeted banner pool count is going down from 100 to 80. That makes it a lot better if you want to go for a targeted banner now, since you don't have to uh, quote unquote waste 20 more pools on getting the character that you want, and the PT is the same as it is on the random character banner, which is a great change that they made like in the
Yeah,
last few
great.
days. And so even still, I feel like since we have spent a bit of money, I mean, I have spent a bit of money, and I'm thinking about maybe doing some. The first day, I will definitely pull everything on random banner. I will spend all of my pulls. I will not use my crystals, but I will spend all of my natural gotten pulls on the random banner and see what I get. I don't want to go for Freya too soon, since if I get a dupe of her, if I go for her targeted banner and then I get her and then I get a dupe of pulling on the random banner, I would feel like garbage. So I will probably spend most of my pools in the first day, maybe even the first couple of days, depending on what the pool income actually ends up being, since it might be different from the beta. Some events might be new.
Most likely.
They're gonna, yeah, they said in their talk they're gonna do a talk on the 31st of May, so they might announce new event, they might announce different characters. I don't know, everything might change. But for what my plan is right now, I'm planning on pulling mostly on the random banner, and hopefully I don't get 3 messiahs and I get some different light and dark units, as opposed to what happened in in the beta. I got 3 messiah and
Mhm.
no other light and dark units. Messiah is a good
Mm.
unit, don't get me wrong, but like I wanted to try more of them, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this is
That's kind of
like my thoughts. What is your thinking on the pool? What are you gonna do? Like, do you make a
I'm
choice?
yeah, since I will have quite a lot of vouchers, I will do the same thing. But I'm just gonna, since I'm actually pushing a lot harder than I think most in my guild or with like my friends and everything are. Um, I'm actually going to do like I'm gonna get my SSR guarantee ticket and just and then what I'm doing is getting my tickets, getting my pulls, speed running the SSRs, like so doing the ticket first, and if I don't get anything I need, which the one thing I want from the start is any type of damage dealer that can just help me, because Leon will be too slow for what I want to accomplish on day one. Personally, like she can do everything, but there's a lot of blue characters that you're gonna fight in the first few chapters of the game until you get 3 times speed. There's like mainly blue units, if I remember correctly, and Leon is just way too slow. Then, like I think I was in a fight without pulling anything. I think I was in a Obol boss fight of chapter 2 for like 5 to 10 minutes or something stupid like that. And
Yeah.
that's way too slow. So I'm just gonna be quite boring with my pulls in the beginning and just try to get like a Born, a Messiah, a Heinrich, a Virimoka, a Rosa, like anything of that sort. Like if as soon as I see anything that can help me clear, like actually wave clear a lot quicker, then I'm gonna stop pulling on the permanent banner and then go back to just clear, clear, clear up to like the level 7 chapter quest so I can unlock experience farm and 3 times speed. And then I'm going to start like farming my shells for the quest and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is pretty much my goal. And then when I'm actually have the background farming going on whatever I need, like for Shadowrunner hard, for example, then I will like more methodically look at my account, what I've managed to pull so far and what I need and like that. But I will get Remoka on like either from just mass summoning or the targeted in day one because I just like the character a lot and it's gonna
Yeah.
help speed clear and I want to be efficient with my clear so I can, like I said, spend time on like other parts of the year, like pushing Anisync or pushing PvP.
Yeah, it's really like important, I guess, to a point. Like it's not the most important thing ever, but like at the start of the game, you since you level up really fast, you tend to overcap on energy, and you definitely want to stop that from happening as soon as possible. So like as soon as you can start unlocking stages that you can auto farm, and like for example, the shells are a good example because you are gonna have quests to complete by having to do them like 10 times or 5 times or whatever times, and you can put them on the on background as soon as you've done that, and that expands your energy so you can like start regening it instead of having the energy regen be wasted. Like that's
Yeah,
something that makes your account a bit more efficient. It's not like it's gonna be uh, day and night from someone who doesn't do that, but it's still like some energy that you can save. And if you want to push as far as we are trying to, like it's probably gonna be an interesting thought to have in the back of your head. Like when can I start auto farming, and what is the best thing that my account can auto farm at a certain point of the game or another?
yeah,
Like it's really hard to gauge the information that's coming out from of YouTube and of Twitch streamers and everything, since it's everyone has a different account. It's not easy for anyone to be able to farm the same content as someone else is farming at the same point in the game, because their account would be different, their like shells would be different, their gear would be different, their characters would be different. What is important is that you realize what you're missing and what you're lacking, and if you have a plan for what you want to have, and SRs really help you with planning because they're like really easy to get in this game. So it's they are almost guaranteed, apart from the light and dark ones, I guess. But if you're planning like Gray, for example, you can plan around, and he's a great character, and other characters that you can plan around make your like the work of like make your pulling so much easier, and make your you be able to focus on what's really important, which is like gearing your character and not being too behind on the content. Like you don't need to overgear them, you don't need to upgrade your shells or your gear too much, as long as you can clear the content. But yeah, like when people say just ignore shells of level X since you will be able to upgrade to the next level, yeah, maybe, maybe if you have the perfect team comp, but what if you don't have the character that you need? What if you aren't able to with that gear, or what if I don't know, anything happens to your account and you don't have exactly what they have, and then you cannot clear the content, and then you're like, am I doing things wrong? And the answer is no. Like, everyone can take the time to clear the content as much as they want, and you don't have to do everything that someone else does to be a good player. Like, if it takes you 2 more shells farmed up to clear something, then just farm those 2 shells. It's gonna be a small waste, but it's like, in the long term, it's probably not gonna matter. You're gonna forget about that in 3 days or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a month from that day you get stuck and do that, it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
It's you only like the first few days it might matter. So it all comes down to however you want to play the game,
Yeah.
pretty much. And the most important is to have fun. We can't forget it's a game after
Yeah.
all, and we're here to have fun in the end.
Exactly. If you lose the fun points, it doesn't matter how far you are in the progression if you're gonna quit the game. Like,
Exactly.
uh,
But
so
you also talked about some SSR or SRs and stuff like that. So I think that's a perfect
yeah,
um,
it's a breach.
bridge
Yeah.
over to the next, because we yapped on far
Y-
too much about this. I
Yeah.
think we made the summons and the beginner or early tips into one at
Yeah.
this point. I think it was very intertwined.
Of course. Yeah. I mean,
But
we
uh,
the reason we started the podcast is we are both yappers. So yeah, I
yeah,
guess we we did go in depth. Yeah.
we
But
have
yeah,
withdrawal syndrome from Etheria, and we want to talk about it. So here we are.
yeah, exactly. When the game is gonna come out, we're not gonna do podcast at all. Like, we're gonna be focusing on the game like mad for no. I mean,
I
hopefully
mean,
we'll
I
have
am.
time. Yeah. Well, but hopefully we'll
Um,
have time left over. Where I hope
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna
we do
spend
one
24.
before. Yeah, we do one before release, and then like a week after release, maybe.
Yeah.
Then we might have time.
We did want to maybe do another one. We were talking about it earlier. After they release the patch notes that they're planning to have with the
Yeah,
balance changes and everything else, so that we can maybe
we should
rediscuss
definitely.
the characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should definitely discuss that. But let's hop on
Yeah.
our SR units. And I could actually kick it off with the Sanya talk you were talking about before.
Yeah.
And most people that have played the game, seen any content of the game or whatever, knows that Sanya, the SR healer, is amazing. And I thought I didn't need a healer in the beginning of the beta, and I didn't. I pushed quite hard, quite fast, with just brute forcing everything. But I
I mean,
realized quite quickly in
yeah,
Termaton that
you had the Lily.
Sanya.
God damn you.
I mean, yes, I had Lily, yes, but when I got hard stuck at like Termaton for doing quest, I tried different healers, and as soon as I like tried Sanya, like it just changed so quickly. Like she's such a good healer and cleanser. I had mine on a Swift set or Swift Rush set, or just more healing and more cleansing, and a cure thing. Oh no, I had Wellspring for a long time, and then I switched to cure. But
Yeah.
like she did so much only as a 4-star. Like I didn't level her up too much, but she really helped my con so much. So she's definitely one of those characters that I hope everyone will pick up if you don't like have
You're
any other
hurting
super good
yourself.
healer.
If you don't pick her
Yeah,
up, you're
exactly.
hurting yourself. Yeah.
Cause,
She's
because
good
I
in PvE, good in PvP. She's good on Union Boss. She's good on like farming. She's good for everything.
yeah, she's just. I mean, I would say she's one of the better units. And to be fair, launching the tournament as well, the beta tournament that was the Tamiya's Cup, like
Yeah.
she was picked every single match of the game, and
And she
she
was
was more
first
scary.
picked. Yeah, she was
Yes,
first picked even. Like, it's crazy how a
and
4-star is the most high priority character that you can have. She's like super safe. She can go in any comp basically. Like, she doesn't have like a comp that you have to build around her. She's
yeah,
just
I
great.
need to correct you with the 4-star though, because we cannot say that in this game because they start at 3 stars.
Oh, true.
I
Yeah,
realize
that's
they're
so
we
annoying.
have to try to keep it with SR. I
SR,
know.
yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like she is just so strong. I think she was the strongest character in my opinion from watching that. Of course, you do have Messiah and stuff like that that just nukes super hard, but like those matches where there were no cleave, like Sonya was just a big MVP with the heal and the cleanse and the revive. Like her kit is quite loaded for an SR unit.
Yeah, and also one thing that yeah you said you were building her with Swift Rush, and I feel like yeah it's probably the best on her since it synergizes so well with the skill one, which pushes her ahead every time she attacks. So the faster she is, the faster she is effectively. It's like the more she
Yeah,
moves, the more she moves. Like
yeah,
if
and the
you
more the
manage to
skill 2
yeah
procs.
when you level her skill one up as well, like she keeps pushing further and further. Like she yeah, and the
Yeah.
more she acts and the more her passive procs and yeah uh, it's
And
insane.
the thing is with her, like she procs her passive, cleansing other like party members in your team, even though she's stunned or sleep or whatever.
Yeah,
It still procs like it's very strong.
yeah,
So yeah, if you get her, use her over like a Dorothy or any other healer. I think Valerian, if you buy, you could use her. I've seen her used a bit,
yeah,
since you do get her for free, pretty much. If you have spent, well, quote unquote free, since you have to spend $1. Um,
yeah,
but I think most people are going, well, maybe not most, but hopefully people are going to spend at least $1 to support the game if they like it.
yeah,
And then you get Valerian, and she could be used as well. I've not had a good luck myself testing her, but she's another good SR healer. I don't have too much experience about her, but definitely
yeah,
keep her in mind because I've seen people use her. And since she is a light element or a constant, I think it's called in this game,
yeah. Constant is
she's
the name.
yeah, she can be used and like in all content, neutral element pretty much. So
The thing that makes her really good, and it's also uh, something that confused me when we were playing the game. It's her tooltipping game is wrong. Like what she does with her ultimate is she puts two stacks of Hazy Dream on herself, or like two turn Hazy Dream on herself. That's the a passive that makes her buff and heal characters every time they take a turn, so she doesn't even need that much speed for herself, since it's when they take a turn that the effect happens, not when she does. And when an ally is about to die, they're healed for 20% of their max HP, and she ends the buff. And in game, when I was looking at it in game, the tooltip was when an ally is about to die, she is healed, which is not apparently how it works. And this makes her
yeah,
so much better since she's probably going to be usable in PvP as well. Since you can save characters from being cleaved down or just focused down, she might be really
yeah.
good. And if you level up her skill 3 at level 5, she gains one stack of her ultimate at the start of the game. So she basically takes a turn before everyone else and makes you be able to save even if you get outsped, which is great for again, if you're not as good geared as other players, like you can still be saved by her, even though you don't get to take a turn. Maybe you can save one of your character, and that might make the difference from you losing or you winning the game. Like,
Yeah, and the Hasty Dream could probably also be used for speed clearing. Like if you don't have the stats to survive things in Termaton, for example, you could probably just survive the first onslaught thanks to that
yeah,
ability and then just kill. For example, with another SR character, Victor, which is a very strong DPS character that can.
yeah,
He's a
and he's a
disorder or
force.
dark character.
He's an SR as well. Yeah,
Yes,
he's a
and
he's a
he's
disorder element, which means he's not gonna be as easy to find as the other elements, but and he's also not available in the $1 package either. But he's a really good
yeah,
DPS for PvE, and he's probably gonna be pretty much as good for PvP. He's probably gonna be worth building eventually. He might not be the
yeah.
first one that you build or the first one that you get, but he would be definitely a consideration you might have to make if you want your account to be as good as possible. He's really
I
strong.
mean, yeah, he's a very strong character. Like for example, for the Phantom Theater, is it called that? The
Yeah,
co-op content.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for that he's very strong because you will have healers and stuff to support him, so he doesn't die, and he gets stronger the lower HP he gets with his passive, and he also
yeah.
takes less damage.
He
So
gets
he will just dish
shields as
out.
well. Yeah,
Yeah, he will just dish out so much damage. I'm not sure how usable he will be in PvP. I've not seen him used that much, and I didn't build him myself during the beta. But he will help you clear fast if you care about like not spending too much time farming. He can really help you, like kill Termaton, for example, super quickly. I've seen some nice speedruns with him. He's just a very strong damage dealer. It's good
Yeah.
to keep an eye on.
The
But I don't
thing,
think he's as important as the others, though.
yeah, yeah, he's definitely like something that you want to keep in mind. Like if you don't get him, you're not crying over it. But if you do get him, you're probably happy about it. Like I feel like he's not as good in PvP, but he can maybe work in a comp where your opponent wants to really focus on a character and they want them to leave. Victor's single target damage is quite scary. It can get really scary, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
You can
sometimes
probably make him as a bruiser as well, so he
yeah,
doesn't die.
he still has the passive. It gives him more damage and also more tankiness, and he has a shield on, and he's more tanky with the shield on. So yeah, I mean the lower his health is, the bigger the
Yeah.
shield gets when he uses the ultimate. But the thing that we talked about Thermaton with, I feel like we should specify with Valerian is that Thermaton procs the one of his attack happens when one of your character dies. So Valerian not making your character die actually saves you from having to take that attack, and that's gonna make a huge difference since when that attack happens, it usually spells disaster for your run. It's usually
I mean,
over
yeah.
when that happens. Yeah. So that's. I mean, how could we not speak about another character that's Gray and him you get for free? He's like a
I
free
mean,
character.
right.
That.
I did speak about him a
Yeah,
little
earlier.
bit
Yeah.
in the early tips, but yeah, Gray is definitely a beast.
Yeah.
I underrated him on my beta account. I struggled quite a lot with it because I didn't use him, and on all my new accounts, I actually focused on him like heavily to get the crit rate up and everything. And holy crap, like the early game is so much easier to do if you have use him. Like
Yeah.
even though I had Lily and Messiah and stuff like that, like sure Messiah worked decently without him, but like in the early game, just the crit rate and having the defense break so you deal more damage, like it helps so much. And he's also like I actually lost to him in one of my RTA matches. I think might have been a normal PvP match, but Gray just nuked the shit out of my team pretty much.
Yeah.
So he
He's
is quite strong as well.
he's also really usable in many different facets. Like you can have him just built with speed crit, and then he will just proc his thing and just dabble about. But you can also have him if you have a good speed and damage gear. He can also be built for damage, and he has pretty respectable damage. He's not like
Yes.
the highest damage dealer, but still like for a character that gets crit rate buff to your whole team and then gets defense down as well. Like how much health does he need to do for you to use him? It's like he's super good, and his skill one also when he crits, which is probably gonna be always when you have him built, he increases his turn meter as well, which makes him cycle faster when he doesn't have his combo. And his skill 2 and skill 3 go on cooldown at the same time, so you're probably mostly using his skill 1 when you're not ulting. So getting boosted makes him cycle faster, which is always great. Like
Yeah,
never bad.
uh,
Yeah.
we we can skip about talking about him more at the moment because I do have something I want to talk about him on the end about PvP and stuff like that, some
Oh,
fun
sure,
stuff.
sure, sure, sure.
Uh, but he's a no-brainer for most people, like
Yeah,
TLDR, because you get him for free. He's very strong. He will help you with a lot of things in the early game.
yeah,
Uh, and it's a SR, so it's cheaper to skill up and everything. You have more resources.
yeah.
I have like three character more I want to speak about. Do you have anyone in particular?
I mean, my main interest, like, I feel like a character that you probably won't speak about, or maybe you will. I don't know. It's Dinah. I really think she's good. Like, I haven't tried her a lot, but I have seen people use her, and I've seen what she does, and I feel like, yeah, she's really good. You can get her if you go for Freya on her banner, since she's one of the rate up characters on her banner. And her, like, debuffs that she applies with her ultimate and with her skill 2 and with everything she does are great. Like, they're just overall damage increases. And again, she can be used as well as Grey, together with Grey, on Terramaton, because when the enemy already has defense down, she applies other debuffs on top of that that increase your damage further. So if you're having trouble with Terramaton, and I would say even with Aurora or like other bosses, just in PvE, I guess, she can be another option to increase your damage further. Like, she's really good. She's she's just very versatile, and like, she's not as good with damage as Grey is. So if you have to choose one of the two, you're probably better off with Grey many times for just the passive damage that he gets. But still, like, if you can use both of them, you're probably happy to do that on Termaton or stuff like that. Like,
I mean,
depending on how your account is
add,
looking.
yeah, just to add on that, if I may, is you don't need to skill her up or anything. You pretty much
Yeah.
just need a separate set. Like, for example, if you use Grey and her, you don't need to use them both, but if you do, Grey goes first, defense break, Diana goes second. She doesn't need a defense break, she adds the vulnerability and probably erosion as well, which vulnerability just increases the damage they take, and erosion deals more damage on critical hits, I believe. I think it's a percentage based on the HP or something like that. I
Yeah, she
don't remember.
first applies vulnerable. So if they already have when vulnerable is just a 30% damage increase or damage taken increase, and if they are already vulnerable, or even if she uses her skill 2, oh my god, that word is hard.
Yeah.
But she applies erosion, which is when taking the next crit damage, she consumes 1 stack of erosion, and the attacking deals true damage equal to 60% of the character's attack, and also
Oh, it's
pushes the
true.
turn meter as
Right.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you don't need to really do much with her. Like you can have her at like maybe 4 or 5 stars, so she survives wherever you use her, and she's mainly a PvE unit. Like you could probably do some speed cleaves in normal arena with her, just to one-shot things. But like she's mainly a PvE unit that just enhances your damage for speed clears. For example, she's perfect in Termaton.
Yeah.
Like I used her with the Rimoka and Grey, and like Rimoka literally on hard 3 on day 1, I like 60% the boss with one ulti from Rimoka unupgraded. Like it's so much damage you get, like the damage amp you're getting from the Dyna is very good. But that's about what she does as well.
Yeah.
And she will just help you clear things faster. Uh, and if you need a defense break in Grey, is like if it's a red fight, you need a defense break, she can help you there as well. But there's
Yeah.
not really someone you need to invest a lot of resources in. But just having
Yeah.
her to slot her in
Yeah, keep
is
her in
perfect.
mind. Like, that's my point with her. Like, you don't even
Yeah,
need, like, you might start her up once eventually, but like, even if you don't, she's probably still gonna be good. You might need to level her up a bit when you are going up against like higher level terror buttons, so that she doesn't just die when the fights start, since she might be squishier than other character if you don't level her up. But yeah, for everything else,
yeah,
like, you don't need to level up her skills. You don't need her to have a particularly good damage gear. You just need her to apply her debuffs and maybe be speed tuned with Grey and your DPS, so that
yeah.
her debuffs
Speed,
take place
tune,
at the
and
right time.
accuracy, pretty
Yeah,
much. It's
and
also
accuracy.
and survive. That's it.
What were your 3 characters then?
I have Marvel and Kraken in one that I wanted
Yeah.
to kind of. They're kind of fill the same role. Like they're super good units. Uh,
They
like
also look
they're really.
very similar.
I mean,
The more I look at them side by side, look at this.
uh,
Like,
yeah,
they look
maybe.
very similar. One is looking to the right and one is looking to the
Yeah,
left, but
yeah. But yeah, Kraken, as anyone that has played the game know, he's a very good SO unit. He has a crowd control. He pushes back people with his skill 3, and then he controls them with freeze. And if they are below 50% turn meter, I think it's a guaranteed freeze.
Yeah.
But if it's not below 50%, it's like
No,
a
it's
60%.
when you yeah when you're if their turn meter is emptied, then the probability is 100%.
Oh, it's empty.
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah, yeah.
50%.
And then it's
Okay.
100%. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
75% to knockback and 60% to apply freeze, which is still quite high. And
Yeah.
then you probably
It's a
wanna
very
have some
good
effect
unit.
accuracy.
Yeah. And he's like a main unit in most people's team for Doki Doki, for example, because in Doki Doki you need that like a control effect to get rid of their damage reduction they have. He's a very good unit, and a lot of people I've heard want him nerfed because they were too good in PvP. Same with Marvel. If we go over to him, I kind like the thing I want to say about these two characters and apply to both of them. So we can just
Yeah, there
so
we are.
Marvel's skill 3 is he pushes back everyone's attack bar by quite a lot and applies speed down and rest down.
Yeah, he
How much
pushes
is it
back
per
by
team?
50% and applies 2 turn speed
50%,
down
yeah.
and rest down. And the speed
Like
down and rest down is 100% chance. The pushback is 60%, but still, you probably want effect accuracy. So yeah,
yeah, so the whole thing is like in PV both of these units are absolutely phenomenal. Like they should like a lot of people have been asking to nerf these I've seen and I'm like no, because the whole reason is why they're strong is their kit and people don't know how to play around it yet, and it like the first few days of the game it's all about speed because you don't have anything else. uh, but when you get it down later in the game, like as soon as you get to Aurora, just farm a bit of Aurora, put Bulwark on your characters so you have immunity before you start, and like these two characters are useless in PvP if you just play against them. And like a month into the game, they are not probably gonna outspeed you ever if you are going for speed yourself and you have SSR units because you probably have better base speed then. And
I
like if you
mean
do,
Marvel is really fast, but yeah,
I mean,
but
yeah, but he's still slower than a Freya, than a Klaus, than other
yeah,
things that can control. And like if you lose against control, you uh, like you probably drafted bad or just were outgeared. That's just how it
yeah,
is. But you can diminish that outgeared process by just like if you have immunity, Marvel doesn't do anything. Like he doesn't have much damage, and no one is gonna build him with damage. So if you just have that immunity, or at least immunity on a Ling Low, for example, when you get turn day 7, then you can
yeah,
cleanse everyone and just heal them back up, and Marvel doesn't do anything like at all. He's just a dead pick then. And this is something that a lot of people don't think about because they lose once because he outspeeds and then pushbacks and you're dead. And that will happen in the beginning. He's a very strong unit,
yeah,
like overall. Like he will be used in PvE everywhere. And so if you get him, you should be quite happy because he's gonna help you just not let the enemy take turns. And same with Kraken. Like them two together in like any sync battle, for example, you are almost guaranteed to do whatever you want in the matches,
yeah.
which is kind of nice.
You could also use both of them, even like on Doki Doki. It's probably not the best, like it's to use both of them, but still, like since you're fighting AoE enemies, like you can keep pushing them back, and even like as long as you get the stuns on them, like you're gonna deal the damage, and their debuff lasts for 3 turns when you stun them. So you don't even need to stun them again if they just don't take turns because you're taking all the turns and they're stopped in time forever by your crowd controls. It's like makes runs so much easier. You might even skip on a healer if you're running with both of them. Yeah, and you have enough speed. Like you can probably stop the
Yeah.
enemies from moving, and even if they do a bit of damage, it's fine because they're not gonna do enough attacks. And it's as long as your DPS and your characters are built. Like he's probably a really insane pick, even like at the start of the game. And again, like both him and Kraken don't really need a lot more than speed and effect accuracy. Like they would like to be a bit tankier, I guess. They would like maybe some damage, but they don't really need it. Like they just care about speed and effect accuracy. Like as long as they hit their debuff, they've done their job, and as long as they take more turns than the enemies, they're happy. So they're not even that hard to build. Like you don't even need to
Yeah,
spend a lot of resources on them. Like Marvel's cooldown is a bit high at the start of the game. He has a 5 turn cooldown ultimate if you don't max it, but still, even still, he's so good for PvE and even for
yeah.
PvP. Yeah,
Like two very good units. If you get them, you should be happy.
yeah,
Like if for
for
PvE,
sure.
because they're gonna carry so much in like a lot of content. PvP, they are super good as well, as long as people don't use bulwark, which they
Yeah,
want in the beginning. So just put fast speed and you can
and
breeze
have
through
fun.
arena,
Yeah,
most likely. Yeah. Obol kind of fits the same category as them, but he has a strip, so he counters the bulwark strategy. But he's a very good character. I'm just gonna give him an honorable mention.
yeah,
I think he should get a slight buff because his CC is not as good as the others. He does have
yeah.
the strip, which is good, but
He also has
we will see
some
what
dot,
happens.
which means he probably has more damage if you don't build any of them for damage. Like since dot doesn't scale with your
Yeah,
gear, so he probably has a
but
bit more damage. Yeah,
the dot should get buffed in my opinion. It's way too since the dots on this game only does 4% damage instead of 5, which they usually do in games like this. I think the dots should just be stronger at this. Like they don't need to buff
yeah,
him, but or well, they're not gonna change the dots most likely. So maybe just add that an extra turn or an extra dot to the enemy would be good enough, or maybe a bit higher percent chance on his stun. But yeah,
yeah,
I think if you just want to stun, since they both are blue element, Kraken is just better at controlling, pretty
yeah.
much.
For most
Uh,
cases,
Ob-
he is. Yeah,
for most cases, yes. Obel does have that.
yeah,
Like if you do manual play, you have access to that first turn strip um, on Obel on the second skill, but he will never use that on auto first, which is also like one of his big problems.
yeah,
And that also leads into the last character I wanted to talk about is Viper.
yeah,
They are a very good character, and for especially for contents where you need a strip, because he is a reliable stripper with his skill 3, which is he kinda does quite a lot since he's stacking. His passive stacks serpent skin, I think it's called, and then when
yeah,
something gets attacked, and then he counters, and when he gets 4 stacks, he counters with his ulti will strip as well. But just for Aurora, for example, that boss has a immunity in the beginning that you need to get rid of uh, before you can do any type of debuffs. It's a red boss, and Viper
yeah,
is one of the few characters that has a reliable strip, because people are thinking they need Heinrich to actually do Aurora. But Viper should be a lot easier to get than Heinrich.
yeah,
And
for sure. Like
yeah,
no
and it's
doubt.
also
Yeah,
like it's also the strong element against Aurora, for example. And so he automatically gets like I think it's 50% accuracy bonus from just being the strong element.
yeah. I think it's 50%.
So Viper is definitely a good character. Like they are a beast in PvP, and they can be
Yeah,
used a lot in PvE because they have a strip, which most like there's not that many strip characters in the game.
yeah. He's also really good at like avoiding one shots with critical hits, which is really good for PvP, but might also be useful for PvE as well for certain content. Like you might get your character crit down, and when they do, he attacks. So yeah, he like if you are fighting AOE fights, like he's probably gonna be um, a, a good friend for you. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
he's
yeah, he's just a very good character
yeah,
overall, I
he's
think.
flexible and tanky as well. Like it makes your whole team tankier. So
Yeah, pretty much. And he also does attack down and speed down on his skill 3, which is also the strip.
yeah,
So he also makes it safer overall because the boss will, or the enemies will take less turns and deal less damage. So yeah, very good character.
he's SR Tiamat basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And the
I
AI
mean,
is better because
yeah,
he only has 2 skills pretty much.
yeah, he doesn't have a skill too. That's true. I mean,
So
is
that's
there
pretty
another?
much it for
I
the
mean,
SR that I
sp-
wanted to talk about
special
personally.
mention to Chiaki the Echo. I think she was a bit outshadowed in the beta due to everyone, or mostly everyone, going for Sanya.
And
Not
Freya.
Sanya, not Sanya, sorry, Freya. Yeah, that's the character I was looking
Yeah.
for. Yeah, she was outshone by Freya, but she's really good. Like if you don't go for Freya, even more so. But she might be an option that you have for PvP, for example, and she's really good for PvP. Her speed up and her not speed up, her turn up and attack up and her passive, her special passive that makes her team unable to be pushed back. Ave Maria, it's called. It makes your characters immune to turn meter reduction and stealing, and they get pushed at the end of the turn as well. Is really good for against certain matchups in PvP, and it might also be probably pretty good against PvE as well, since many enemies have turn meter steal or turn meter reduction. She's
Yeah,
good.
it's not a character I've actually got to play with at all because I never
Yeah,
pulled her, but I pulled Freya on all my accounts, so
yeah,
I don't have experience. But I also know that when I didn't have Freya nor Shirkideko, I used to use number 41 for the same thing, and
yeah. Shout out to this character, number 41.
yeah,
She's
that's why it's an
insane.
R unit.
Yeah, she's
And
also like arguably really good in PvP since her turn meter push is almost double Chiaki Echo's turn meter push.
yeah, the big problem
Yeah,
with her is the base speed.
yeah,
That's why
she's
she's
much
not as
slower.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
but she's a very good unit for PvE, like,
yeah,
and just doing Shirkideko's work pretty much.
yeah. And
Like,
again, she's
I
a
like
rare
her quite a
character,
lot.
so
Yeah,
she's not even
even
as
easier to
SR.
build.
Yeah, easier to build and much easier to get. And like you still get the dupes. The dupes of her you're gonna get super easily, and her last dupe makes her take 10% less damage and deal 10% more damage, which I guess doesn't matter. But the 10% less damage taken
Yeah,
still applies, both PvE and PvP and RTA, as the community recently learned.
yeah,
So yeah,
the hard way.
let's not talk about that in this.
Yeah,
Otherwise, this would last 5 years. But
yeah.
yeah,
And with
unless
that said,
there's
I'm pretty
yeah,
much done. So, and
yeah,
I see that we have been
there
yapping
are
for a
like
long time already.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there are so many good characters, but like we should
Yes.
stop. Yeah,
Yeah, we should definitely
yeah,
go like look at the character, look at what you need, and you will probably find something in the SRs as well,
yeah.
depending what you're missing on your account.
Don't ignore them. They're super good.
Yeah,
Like, and there's a new feature on Pridwen if you're looking for them on Pridwen when you can look for characters by sorting them by debuffs or buffs. So if you need something in particular and you don't have the currency to pull for an SSR, you might just look here and say, I want defense down. What characters can I have that have defense down? And you might have an SR or even a rare unit that has
yeah.
it. So, like,
Uh, yeah.
yeah,
A fun thing is like all the rare units could be used in the PV because they
yeah,
do have everything you kind of need. Like, so if you don't have the resources as free to play, like look to the rares. They could really help your progression as well because they're a lot easier to build. They're not
less
going to be used in
expensive.
PvP most likely. Uh, yeah, less expensive, but they're not going to be used in PvP most likely because the base stats are just worse. But for PvE, they can work
Yeah,
flawlessly to help you. But yeah, let's head on over to the last topic before we wrap
PvP
this up.
tips.
Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, use some
This is
PvP fun comps thoughts, and I said I wanted to talk about Grey a bit more
yeah,
here, so I guess I will just go back to Grey.
yeah. Our
And
boy.
first thing I'm gonna say is everyone is talking about like a lot of dupes working now in PvP and like having 5 dupes on SSRs and stuff like that, pay to win. But remember, if you are playing PvP as a free to play or a low spender and you don't push and trying to be the top, you're probably never going to like fight those whales. But you're going to fight against people that want to use SSR units that don't have dupes. And if you then have full dupes on an SR team, for example, you just have that increased damage and damage reduction So you could go for a turn 2 cleave, for example, where you just don't care about speed at all. You speed tune your characters to go after the enemy. You don't care what they do really, and you try to ban like an immunity like Hellkid or Linglo. Like for example, you could have a Shiaki the Echo, but you have them slower. You could have the Grey, which you will get for free. Maybe you even go with Gachi or Kachi. I don't remember how it's
Which
called. It's a 3-star
which
unit,
one? The
or not a
the
3-star, R
SR
unit.
or the
No,
rare
the
Kachi?
R. Yes, the rare.
Yeah, he
But
stuns and push back. Yeah.
no. Look at skill 2 is the more that I'm thinking of. If you can read that.
I mean, skill 3 is still really good, but skill 2 is
True.
grants 100% turn meter to an ally and 2-turn attack up and reduces cooldown of older enemy skills. Yeah, you don't
Yes.
even need to level this up.
So if you take turn 2, just with those 3 units, like Shiaki starts, um, like pushes. She could be a bit faster, or like use anything to cut in between, like a shell that gets the attack bar or whatever. You push your team, or you could also use it with number 41. To be fair, but the thing is, if you have full dupes on them, you have the more stats and the more damage increase and damage reduction. So, for example, Shiaki goes first, like attack buffs, push everyone up. Grey goes next. He does his skill 2, increases his crit rate to 100%, since you will probably go for a 70% crit rate build, and then just go like super high like attack and crit damage.
Yeah.
He does his skill 2. He will hopefully land a lot of defense break if you ban like any of their like Linglo or Hellkid, like, so they don't have immunity, because they've already gone their first turn, so they don't have immunity for Bulwark, because you intentionally go slow. And then you have what was the name? Gachi? Or
Yeah,
what was it
it's
called?
Gachi. Yeah,
Gachi. Yeah, you go him straight
Kachi.
after
Yeah.
Grey, and he just pushes Grey up, it reduces the cooldown, and what can he do then? Yeah, everything is defense broken, and he can do the nuke again. Because he reduces the skill cooldown by 1, and if you have a max Grey, you only have 1 turn of downtime. So you can pretty much do nuke defense break to nuke on top of the defense break.
Yeah.
So you can literally use 1 Grey to kill everyone if you go turn 2 and know, like, okay, I just need to survive this turn. And you also have a 4th pick that you will have that could help. But
Yeah, and
that's
these
just a
are all
fun
like
thing.
really cheap units and SRs and
Yeah,
rares that you can use. It's like you're not gonna have the best in slot comp that everyone wants. Like you're not gonna have the best everything, but you're gonna have a good comp that works and you actually know how to play. And like recommendation are worth nothing if you don't know how to like make things work. So having a team that is reliably something that you can get because people won't get your same characters because they will be focusing on other characters. So you will basically have the whole team under wraps every single game. Like you're for sure gonna get them, or at least most of them. And there are other options that you can have as well. Like it's probably more reliable to climb than having the best in slot team that everyone is going for, and so you're gonna compete with the other players to steal that character or another character that they want, and you're gonna lose out on your best gear because it's on characters that you won't be able to play every time. So it's
yeah, that's exactly why I'm not wanting to go with Tiamat ever as my selector, because a majority of people is going with her from like what I've gathered. And I want like just to be able to counter it instead. Know that Tiamat is coming from the enemy, so I either know to ban her or just nuke her with like Real Mokka or Grey or whatever, because Grey can kill her if you have a nice combo. Um, she has the RNG with Bulwark, of course, like Tiamat with Bulwark can just like really ruin your day, which I don't really like as a mechanic myself. Um,
not you mean Bramble, not Bulwark.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Bramble, yes.
Yeah.
When she counters attack, like when she if she counters attack at the same time she goes into dragon form, you're pretty much just dead. Uh,
Yeah, because the
uh,
dragon form, when it triggers, allows her to act again. So basically, she gets two dragon form attacks in a row, which
yeah, and I think
spells
that
disaster.
interaction
Yeah.
should not work. It's way too strong. Like it should work when she's in like Bramble should work when she's in dragon form, but when she's not in dragon form, she should counterattack with a normal attack then transform, because that's
Yeah.
just like she cannot do anything a whole game and then all of a sudden she just gets 2 turn and wipe your team, which I personally don't think is fun because it feels like violent procs from Summoners Wars if anyone played that. And it just feels bad, like you're controlling the whole game pretty much, you're winning, and then all of a sudden, oh, you lost because of
25%
RNG.
chance and you lose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's 25%
Feels Epic
chance on
7.
top
Yeah.
of getting that 8 stack, so she transforms. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a very, like,
Perfect
it happened to
timing.
me
Yeah.
once. I was winning, and then it happened once for me, and I just straight up died from having only a Tiamat left, and she just one-shot my team because of the proc. And I'm like, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Like if she didn't proc, I wouldn't be dead.
One more tip I have for you all in PvP, and I'm not the best at PvP yet. I'm trying to learn, but as I said, I don't have as much experience as Marcus has. But one thing I've realized during the tournament is that people that have played these games for a while have some sort of like mental um, preconception on what a team must look like or should look like, which is like, say, you want one DPS and two supports and one healer, or like two DPS and one support and one healer, or two DPS and two supports. It's like you're not obligated to play like that. Like if your opponent goes for, say, a team comp like Tiamat and Linglo and Sanya as well, so they're fully defensive team, they might want to like stall the game out and not die soon, so they might not go for like the most offensive team comp. They are more relying on their team to survive and then attack back and outlive you. You can do things that are like outside of the usual conception of the game. For example, you could go like 3 DPS, or say you have Oyan. Like Oyan disallows them to rest. Like she was disabled during the beta, but she will eventually be coming, hopefully. She's her ultimate, or her passive, I guess it is. What is it that she has that disallows? Wait, was she changed? Oh no, there we go. It's the passive, or skill 2 passive. It disallows character from being revived. You could, like, reviving has a counter when she's out, so you don't need to be too afraid of defensive comps. Like if you can kill their, like if your character are well speed tuned and you don't get cut, you could just focus one character and kill them. Like you don't have to kill their whole team to win. If their team comp is all around one character, like, and they want to defend them, like Tiamat comps might be, you could just kill her, and then if you do, they don't have damage anymore. Like if their whole thing is one support, two healers, and Tiamat, and they just want to support the Tiamat and kill you over time, you can just kill the Tiamat if you burst her enough and if your character go close enough together. Like I feel like I'm not reinventing something special or saying something that's completely out of anyone's wheelhouse. It's just that during the tournament it looked like people were just sticking to traditional composition and traditional team building, and yeah, it felt like backseat gaming a bit, but why not go for some more burst, like some more offensive comp to, like, the damage is there in the game. Like Tiamat is strong, but she's not broken. Like she's definitely a good character for PvP, but she can be killed. You don't have to beat her at what she's good at doing. Like go for things that are test things at the start of the game. That's what I'm trying to say. Like don't just be um, taking concepts from other games and just bringing them over to this game. The characters are, there are few characters in this game, but they have a lot of different abilities and a lot of different places where they're stronger and weaker. Like test things around. You don't need the light and dark 5-star or SSRs to win every game. Like they're strong. They're for sure strong, but they can be beat and should be beat. Like go for things that are unexpected. Like break the standards, and you will see that people will not expect it. Like nobody expects. The comp Marcus was talking about is a perfect example. Like people might not even know what your character do, but if you get the right characters or the right comp, you might be able to win even with against like really strong comps. Like you just need to learn when something is good and when it isn't, and what is like looking for too much or what is like too greedy, I guess, in character select and what you can get away with. Like if you have a comp that really works for you, just go for it. Like if you see something that counters it, you might learn. If you get beaten, like if you stick to the same comp over and over because people say it's the strongest team that you can play, you will never really learn how to play the game. Like, and this applies to every kind of game, it feels to me. What is your thoughts, Marcus? You are muted. Okay.
Oh yeah. I didn't say anything, but yeah, I was muted because I coughed earlier. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do agree, and like you will never evolve as a like gamer if you never think for yourself. Like if you only go what other people say. So the best thing, especially if you're not caring about your rank, is just have fun and try different things, and especially with like SR characters that you like, or maybe put in an R character as well. For example, like Gachi, like I said. Uh, just because if you don't care about your rating, you can probably get away with more wins for cheaper characters because you can build them up while you're facing up against everyone else that is probably using only SSR because they think they are the strongest because they're the highest rarity. Like if people don't know better, and I'm very sure there's gonna be a lot of them in PvP, even though there's so many guides out there. So like just try stuff. For example, if everyone is like, "Oh, Marvel is so strong, we're just gonna use him," yeah, just go with Bulwark, slower team, let them do their thing, ban their sustain or their damage, and just like wait for your turn and kill. Like be patient with your playing. Try different things. Uh, yeah, that's probably my best advice. Like if you're
Yeah.
pushing PvP, pushing for the tournament or what, or like yeah, the World Cup, then you probably don't need these tips. Like you should have PvP figured out
Unlocked. Yeah.
somewhat. Yeah, but for those people that just want to get into PvP or enjoy PvP, like don't just pick Tiamat, Freya, Lian, Sanya, because that's what everyone tells you to pick, or what everyone else picks. Because most people will pick the characters they have built. So if you have a good character built like an SSR, which most will have at least one, try to go for that, and then just go for other things that work together. For example, like Gray is a very good SR unit that all will have. Most people might not pick him, and he can do wonders for you with the right comp. And I think there is a I think one of the two of the top left of your screen there, two units. One of those two is a very strong single target damage dealer. I'm not sure how he will work in PvP, but one of them I think stacks a lot of damage, and then like has I think it has the almost the highest damage in the game when he's stacked. I don't know which one it is.
I think it's the other one. Yeah. The red one.
Yeah. So that could be like something you have in the back pocket for
Yeah.
if the enemy doesn't have too much damage, but has a lot of green units, for example. Then you might randomly pick this guy, and no one is expecting it, don't even know what they do, and you can pick up a win because no one is like, wait, using a rare unit? How noobish of you! And they like underestimate you, and they just die for it. Like this is just theory, uh, but like actually being unexpected can make you win more games than following quote unquote the best characters.
Yeah. It's not always the case, but when it is, it means It's usually the most fun times that happen when
Yes.
you're actually winning with a strategy that you thought out on your own.
Yeah, and that's the probably the matches you want to share with your friends as well.
Yeah,
If you're enjoying the game and you
for
have people
sure.
that enjoy the game with you, which is the most important.
Your guild. Yeah.
Yes, your guild, your friends, your family, whoever you
If you're
want to
lucky to
brag
have
about.
friends. I don't.
I mean, I'm here. Question mark.
Question mark. Wink wink question mark. Yeah. But
Please
I
send
feel
help.
like yeah. I feel like that was pretty much everything. I mean, we could go on and on for hours. That's
Yeah, but
the
I
main
think we should
reason, as
end
I
it
said.
here.
Yeah, we should
We'll
probably
wrap
end
it
it.
up
It's
here.
over 1 hour 15 minutes
Mm.
already. So
Yeah.
I mean, I hope someone watches this, and if you do, like comment, like if you have any further tips, like we might have missed something, we might also not know like something. So if you have any further instruction, leave them in the comments. Like it's always fun to discuss. I'll be sure to watch the comments and see what people talk about. So let us
Mm.
know what you think about if you're watching this video. Which again, you're crazy if you watch like two guys ramble on for 1 hour and 15. Yeah,
This is just a fun project for ourselves.
yeah, we have fun.
But
Like we do this even if you're not recording. So we said why not just record while we discuss as we usually do. Yeah.
and I will give a special thanks to my guild leader in Hollow for actually coming up with some pointers of what to discuss.
Yeah.
So
Hellbor.
thanks for
Yeah.
that.
Thank Hellbor.
Maybe we have to bleep that out. I'm not sure if they want to be mentioned. That's why I didn't say names.
Oh, sure. Well,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so hopefully, and you guys enjoy this if you did watch this. Any feedback would be nice if you have watched this, and hopefully we will have one more soon enough.
Yeah. Thanks for watching slash listening to us, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Everyone, bye bye.